Every year, Jackery seems to release another awesome battery. This year, they released a beast. This one charges in 90 minutes plugged into the wall and only 2 hours running on full solar. Let's dive into this thing.
Crazy. It's a nice sunny day out today. I know you're soaking in all the rays. What if we get out some solar panels and soak in some rays with you? Okay, you cool with that? Are you cool with that? Alrighty, my friends. Inside of this box is something really freaking cool. See this little battery? What's inside of this box is gonna put this little battery to shame. Are you ready? Whoo! You all know when a big orange box shows up with some handles on it, that we're talking some serious business here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the brand new Jackery Explorer 2000 Pro. What? I am really excited to check this thing out. All right. Cables are orange and stuff now. That's cool. Oh, everything's orange now. Sweet, we'll move these aside. Are you kidding me? A foldable handle? Every Jackery before this one all had these giant handles off the top. That's a lot of additional space when you're living in a van that's just wasted with a handle. Smart move, Jackery. All right, are we ready? Are we ready? Dun, dun, dun. That is a sleek looking unit. All right, let's get into this thing. We all know that I'm not the tech guy. I'm not the one that goes into numbers and analytics and all these other crazy things that I just don't care about when it comes to like the technical side of all of this stuff. What I care about is it gonna run what you need? Is it powerful enough? And how long is it gonna take to charge? Like if I drain it, is it gonna take me 5 days to recharge it? That's the stuff that I care about. I'm pretty sure there's lots of other channels out there on YouTube that are gonna make way more technical videos about this. I'm just the guy just to keep it real. So let's dive into some quick things that you guys want to know right now. If you were to charge it via your cigarette lighter while you're driving, how long is it going to take to charge this battery from 0 to full? If you're using it while you're driving, it's going to take you 24 hours. But the cool thing about this unit is it has dual inputs like this. So if you order a second one of these, you could charge it while you drive in only 12 hours, so half the time. So if you really look at it, if you're putting 3 hours of driving in a day, it'll be charged up in a few days. I know for when it comes to using units like this, whether you are running your solar or not, I would charge it while you drive no matter what. Why not use a little bit of that alternator power to throw a tiny bit of juice in there? Even if it's a 15-minute drive, you might as well harness that power as well as the sun. You know what I'm saying? You might as well use this on a regular basis. And if you're charging it by a wall plug, this is where Jackery changed things in a big way this year. They used to have this giant brick, this huge brick on this big cable, and it was like, just a pain in the butt to store. This is something that's a little bit more easier to store inside of a van, and the good thing is it's a very common cable. Sure, this one's nice and orange and it's a Jackery cable, but you can buy these at practically any place. Like go into any like stereo store that sells like band equipment, you'll be able to find cables like this if you ever lose these, which is awesome. And an impressive thing, Jackery, why didn't you do this years ago with all of your products? When you plug this into the back of this, it charges at 1800 watts. So that means from 0 to full, this huge 2160 watt hour battery charges in a measly 90 minutes. 90 minutes! Jackery, why didn't you do this years ago? That completely changes everything. So you could literally take this into the laundromat, plug it in somewhere while you're doing laundry at a place that allows you to go use the wall plug, and charge this while you're doing laundry from 0 to full. Super impressive. If you're gonna drop this kind of cash on a battery, how long is it gonna last you before this thing becomes a piece of dead weight? Well, put it this way.
This is a 2,160 watt-hour battery that if you were to charge it and drain it, fully drain it, which is, I don't know what you're doing in your van that's going to cause you to drain this every day, but you could drain this and recharge this every single day for 3 years. And at that 3-year point, there'd still be an 80% battery charge in here. Like, this thing would still last you years and years and years and years. That's crazy. What do you guys say we go set up these solar panels? Ooh. Was that light? Oh, light on the front. Cool. We got plugs. So the Explorer 2000 Pro has a 2200 watt pure sine wave inverter inside. That is a ton of plugged in power. Crazy. USB-A, USB-C. Oh, guys, this is super awesome. I really am stoked on this new redesign of the unit. Something like this is cool because you may even be able to mount it inside of something with just this facing out front. Say I wanted to mount that unit inside of this cabinet here. Cut a hole in the front of this cabinet and sink that right in there so the front of the Jackery is right there. That's where redesigning these things with the foldable handle on it comes in hugely handy. You guys want to see where that unit gets really cool? Ugh. Where that unit turns into like a monster amount of power. Oh my gosh. Whew. Jackery has brand new 200 watt solar panels. So the new 200 watt solar panels, you can connect 1, 2, oh wait, there's more, 3, 4, 5. Are you ready? 6. That's right. You can connect 6 200 watt solar panels to that brand new Explorer 2000 Pro. That's 1,200 watts of solar. Portable battery systems like the Jackery aren't going to be for everybody. There's a lot of people out there that know how to wire big elaborate solar systems with all the controllers and inverters and stuff like that, and is capable of crimping the right gauge wires together and running everything properly. But that's not for everybody. Not everybody understands that stuff, and that's where these little solar generator systems from Jackery come in hugely handy, because they are literally plug and play. And not everybody knows how to drill holes in the roof to run cables up top to their solar panels, or knows how to mount solar to the roof, or do the positive and negative on the battery, and know how to run batteries in parallel and batteries in series, or however they're going to run it, if it's 6 volt or 12 volt. It gets very confusing very fast. Think about that. What size cable do you need? Like 2 gauge, 3 gauge, 4 gauge, 5 gauge, 6 gauge, 1-aught, 2-aught, 3-aught, 4-aught. It just gets insane. What size fuse? 50 amp, 20 amp, 10 amp, 5 amp. It's insane when you start really wrapping your head around how complex an electrical system can get. And if none of those terms make any sense to you, I highly suggest do not install a permanent system in your van on your own. That's where these little Jackery full complete plug and play fold and stuff away systems come in hugely handy. And think about this. Right there, from that bar to that bar across the entire top of the front of my van is devoted to only 300 watts of solar. Check this out. That little pile of stuff right there is 1,200 watts of solar. That is an insane amount of power. So for somebody who has high power needs in your vehicle, someone that may want to run an induction cooktop or a microwave, that thing's got what, 2,200 watt inverter, and I think that inverter peaks out at like 4,500 watts. That's insane. You can pretty much run anything you could imagine on that little unit. Let's set this system up. I bet you it looks mighty impressive out here with their brand new solar panels.
1,200 watts. When I found out this was 1,200 watts, I was like, are you insane, Jackery? Have you lost your freaking mind, Jackery? That's a massive amount of power. Those new solar panels fold out into 4 little panels. That is awesome. And this thing just folds up shut. And just like the other ones, they're magnet connected right here. Look at that. They aren't much bigger than their Solar Saga 100s, but there's 200 watts of solar in here. Are you excited about all this? On the back of the panels, they have these which allow you to adjust the angle of the entire system, and they got magnets on here which kind of hold them in place, which is really, really cool. This is crazy. I literally have a solar field. That's nuts. So if you notice with portable solar, you can point them directly at the sun, right at that little ball as best you can, where the solar that's mounted to my roof points straight up. But doing a portable system like this, having the ability to point it exactly where you need it, is going to get you way better solar production than the setup that's permanently mounted on my van. And here in Canada, because our sun is usually over the south, like in the wintertime, literally our sun comes up and stays over there. It's never above us. But then as we get closer to summer, it kind of gets closer and closer to being above. But right now, that's still not above us. That's still probably about 25 degrees off from being above me. Here in Canada, if your solar panels are like the ones that are on my van pointing straight up, we only get optimal solar for maybe a month or 2 out of the year. For the rest of the year, doing a foldable system like this would be super awesome. On the back of the solar panels, there is this waterproof plug on here, which is great because I would be keeping these panels in my rooftop carrier, so you don't want anything to get wet. So having this is kind of nice. You pull that off, and then you take these little plugs, you plug them in here, and then connect everything to the battery. These are the Jackery junction boxes that allow you to connect 3 solar panels per side. Make sure when you're wiring this stuff up that they're even. So if you're doing 1 panel in from one side, do 1 panel from the other, or 2 and 2, or 6 and 6. Do you know what I mean? So you need to wire them up. All the instructions and stuff are mounted right on here, your do's, your don'ts. Plus, obviously, it comes with all these really, really well done instructions inside of the manual. I know boys don't read instruction manuals, but when it comes to dealing with solar and electricity, please read the manual. You could be super picky out here and spend some time and adjust every panel precisely to maximize every little bit of that sun's power. I'm not going to do that today because, believe it or not, I'm okay with an 800 watt input. That's crazy. I bought this really expensive Noco charger, so when I plug my van in at the shop, it'll just pull tons of power from the grid, and it doesn't even pull this kind of wattage. This is awesome. But on the back of them here, there's a little bungee, so if you need to adjust these more, you simply just pull it back and you can adjust that angle to make sure it's directly at that sun. This is crazy to me, that I have a whole field of solar beside my van home. That's bonkers. All that being sucked into right there, so you could take that battery right there and run your home on it. So let's see if adjusting the angle of those panels made a difference for the amount of energy that's coming in from the sun. What do we got here? 641 watts. It actually made it worse. I should have just left it right where it was, but look how fast this thing's charging. It's at 89% already, and now only 0.5 of an hour to charge this thing up to 100%. I seriously think a system like this belongs in somebody's van who has very high power needs but doesn't have the knowledge to do the electrical on their own, or doesn't want to do anything permanently installed. Maybe they're moving this system from their tiny home into their van for summer travels, or from their RV back into their home for the winter while they need some just backup for maybe you're in an area that loses power all the time. So maybe you need to have a system that you can take with you in multiple different scenarios. I think that's where this would be ideal for somebody. And like I said, the person who doesn't know how to do big installs in their van on their own, or doesn't understand, you know, like what a 1/0 cable is. If you don't know what that is, don't be installing anything in your van on your own. Hire a professional or pick yourself up a kit like one of these. That is a monster setup. If you're the one that's gonna buy a setup that requires 1200 watts of solar, let me know. That's bonkers. I remember when Jackery was telling me that they're releasing a new battery, and they told me about the Explorer 2000 Pro. I'm like, that is awesome. And then I figured you'd be able to plug in, you know, 4 or 6 of their 100 watt panels. I didn't know they were releasing a 200 watt panel. That makes this setup super cool.
I think the main thing you need to know about this battery setup is that it charges fast, and this is where Jackery has failed in the past. They didn't fail this time.
For a charge here. What do we got? What do we got? Are you kidding me? This thing's at 100% already. It hasn't even been plugged in that long. Oh, insane. Depending on what you plan on doing with a system like this, deploying all 6 panels takes up a fair chunk of earth. So if you're someone who's gonna be at a campsite and the campsite's not that big, putting a full setup like this out there could be a little bit troublesome. But I don't think you're gonna buy this much stuff unless you have some serious power needs inside of your van. And I love it that Jackery finally gave people an option to run high-powered items. Come on, you could use an induction cooktop, make like microwave popcorn and stuff. That's crazy. All right, let's see how long this takes to tear all this stuff down. It took me about 10 minutes to set it all up. It'll probably go down in 2 to 3 minutes without a doubt.
Okay, the reality to this is you're looking at about 10 to 15 minutes to set this up, depending on how meticulous you are with your solar, and about 5 to 10 minutes to tear it down.
Crazy that all of that turned into just that. These things are not that big at all, especially when you start popping them together. Look at it, that's it. 6 panels. Like a hand and a half. Sweet. Look guys, I know Jackeries are built to last. I've had this 240 in my van for 4 years now. It's got a little clang in it once in a while, but it's been banged up, beat up, dropped, left outside in the moisture, and it still turns on. Everything turns on here every time that I need it. It's trustable. But I think the new form factor of the 2000 Pro is perfect for the unit, because somebody like this may want to actually dedicate a spot in their van home for it. So just say if I was going to put it inside of this cabinet here, I could cut a hole in the front of the cabinet and have it all put in there properly so I only see the face of it, which is pretty cool idea. And then you can vent the side of the cabinet here to allow in fresh air in and out so this thing can breathe. But permanently mounting it in your van, I think this would look super sleek. And it functions so easy. If you want to turn on these USB plugs, you push that button and all these USBs turn on. So a little bit of a slick trick. If you're running these puck lights and they plug in via USB, and if you don't want to do any big switch panels like I have there, you could easily just plug them in here, and when you want to turn the lights on, you push the button to shut them off, push the button to turn them on. Easy peasy, simple as that. And if you want to run anything that's going to require a wall plug, whether it be a blender, a microwave, a fridge, whatever it is, if you want to turn these on, you push that button and it activates all the plugs and stuff on here. And also in here, if you have anything that runs off of a cigarette lighter, you put it in there, you push that button, it turns on the plug there as well. I love the Jackery screen displays. So on here, it is super easy to read. When you have it plugged into the wall or plugged into solar like we had it outside, it'll tell you how many watts are charging right now, and below it on this one, which is really cool, tells you how long it's going to take to charge that battery at that exact input. In the middle here, it gives you a real easy display to know how much percentage of your battery is left. This is the one you'll probably look at the most when you glance over. You're like, okay, my battery's at 99%, we're good to go. And this is the part that I think is awesome. When you plug something in here, whether it's a blender, a microwave, a fridge, whatever it is, it'll tell you how many watts it's pulling away from your battery and how many hours left of time you can run that thing before this battery completely goes dead. Because I don't have a lot of things inside of my van home that draw a huge amount of power, what do you say we pack up everything here, we head on into town and hit the thrift store and see what kind of crazy things that we can plug into that battery back there before the battery explodes. I'm super curious. Let's go have some fun.
This was pretty fun for me, grabbing the shopping cart, going to the thrift store, buying some super high-powered items. You know, like the old school ones that just didn't care about what it pulled off the grid? Like a microwave, a toaster, an old crock pot, a hair dryer. Oh yeah, this was fun.
All right, we're good to go. All right, my dear Jackery battery. So I've picked up a few things. I bought myself a Superman toaster because Superman toaster. Every van lifer needs a Superman toaster, right? We got a coffee pot and got a crock pot and a microwave. We're gonna plug all these in, as many as it. Oh, and I got a hair dryer just in case the ladies want to know if you can run a hair dryer on it. I didn't have time to go buy toast or anything like that, so we're just gonna start plugging stuff in here. All right, toaster plugged in, and we're gonna put some water in here so we don't like kill it. And bada boom, we got a coffee pot. So you think this thing can run all of these? When you want to turn all these on, you push that button. Now the inverter turns all of these on. So this inverter is a 2200 watt pure sine wave inverter. The pure sine wave part means it's safe on all your delicate electronics. This is not a delicate piece of electronic. We're talking like laptops, iPads, cell phones, things like that. What do we got? Can we power a hairdryer? 1700 watts on a hairdryer. That's insane. This thing smells very bad. Okay, let's try the toaster. Toaster. What do we got? So this toaster is running right now and it says it's pulling 735 watts. I don't know if you guys can read that. The sun shines out here. 735 watts. So this would run for 2.8 hours. Now let's see if we can make coffee and toast in the morning all off of this. Wow. Okay, so you can hear it. Oh, there it is. It's working. So the coffee pot is actually pulling 903 watts. Now let's see if we can make toast at the same time. 1,637 watts, and it would run for 1.2 hours. That's a lot of mornings of making toast and coffee, because this is on for what? Maybe 5 minutes? Toast, maybe 2 to 3? Awesome. You may ask those questions. Can you run a coffee pot? Yes. Can you run an old school toaster? Yes. Would you want to run an old school coffee pot and toaster in a van? Probably not. There's better ways to do these things in a van than bringing old school stuff from your home. On to the next few. Crock pot and a microwave. A timer. What are we doing here? Okay, baked potato. Okay, hold on. I don't know how to work a microwave. I seriously don't know how to work a microwave. I've been living in my van for 5 years. I forget. So if you guys can hear it, the microwave is on and it's pulling 1,410 watts and it would run for 1.4 hours. That's insane. And I'm pretty sure they make microwaves that are a bit more efficient than something I would find at the thrift store. So crock pot is on. Is that all that thing pulls? The crock pot is only pulling 240 watts. So the crock pot's pulling 247 watts and says it will run for 7.9 hours at a 95% charge. But I know the question you've all been wondering, can you dry your hair and cook yourself dinner at the same time? Well, if you use the hair dryer on low, it actually pulls less wattage. So both of these, crock pot and this on low, is 645 watts. Will it run on high and the crock pot? 1,961 watts. and it will run for 1 hour. So you can look pretty and eat. I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy the Explorer 2000 Pro, especially because the solar is so scalable. Like you can start off with the battery and 200 watts of solar and then upgrade it to 400 watts, 600 watts, 800 watts, 1000 watts, 1200 watts of solar. Running that thing in optimal solar conditions, if you're actually pulling in 1200 watts on that entire setup, you can charge that whole battery from dead to full in under 2 hours. To me, that is absolutely crazy. Super, super efficient. And I love that. Jackery has been doing so good over the years of releasing products that just seem to be getting better and better every single time. I'll leave the links to all the stuff that you've seen in today's video right there down below. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'm sure somebody around my channel will have the expertise to give you guys the answer that you need. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys soon.